Okay, this is the Algebra Calculator Set D worksheet. This is what you should be looking at, and you should be pretty okay with this by now. Okay, so make sure we look at the first one, and the first one you have to factorize, so there's a pair of brackets, x's at the front. We need two numbers that times together to give me 14, but these numbers need to combine together to give you positive 5. And 14, straight away in your mind, 2 and 7 should come up. And because you want to get positive 5, the 7 is going to be positive, the bigger one's going to be positive, and it's going to be minus 2. When you do it, check it and make sure you're okay with it. You should be familiar with the solve bit by now. The main difference is you have the same quadratic, it's equal to 0. We factorized it already. If they just ask you to solve, you factorized first, and then you write x equals, there are two solutions, there are two answers, x equals minus 7 and x equals plus 2. The opposite sign. Remember, it is the opposite of the signs that you get when you factorize. Question 3. Always, when you see a question which says use the quadratic formula, go to the front of the booklet and check the formula. You'll see ax squared plus bx plus c. Write that down just underneath the equation, just as I have. Also write down the quadratic formula, which is at the front of the formula booklet, and then work out what a is. So a is the number in front of x squared. In this case, it's 2. Work out what b is. B is the number in front of x. In this case, it's 6. And c is the number at the end. In this case, it's minus 95. Okay, we're going to stick these into the equation. And if you just use the plus bit first, when you type it into your calculator, before you press the SD button, this is what you'll get: minus 6 plus the square root of 796 over 4. Before you press the SD button, and then you'll get your answer. Remember, that answer needs to be to 3 significant figures. I'll show that in a bit. But you then need to go back, change the plus to a minus, and you'll get that before you press the SD button. With the plus 1, when you press the SD button, you would have gotten 5.55. With the minus 1, when you press the SD button, you would have gotten minus 8.55. Now, please do try this. Make sure you are able to do it, just in case you get one in the exam, and it's a bonus 4 or 5 marks. Question 4. Factorize each of those above and below the line. And these are just quadratics. Factorize the first one, x and x. I need two numbers that times together to give me 1, but multiply together to give me positive 2. And that's pretty straightforward, because it's actually just 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So I'm going to put 1 and 1. I need them to add up to 2, so it's going to be plus 1 and plus 1, because these add up to 2. Underneath the line, I need two numbers that times together to give me 2, 1 and 2, and these could combine to give me 3, or add up to give me 3. So it's going to be x plus 2, x plus 1. You could cancel out the plus 1s from above and below, right? We're just going to cancel out one of them from the top and one of them from the bottom, and that gives me my answer of x plus 1 over x plus 2. Question 5, the simultaneous equation. Okay, you don't always need to name the equations, but I'm going to circle the y's. That means I'm going to times the first one by 5. If I times all of that by 5, I'll get 15x plus 35y is equal to 130. Take your time with the 26 times 5. Make sure you don't make a mistake and get it right. Take your time with that. The next one, we're going to times by 7. So 7 lots of 4 is 28. 7 lots of 5 is 35. And 7 lots of 13, again, take your time with that. That's 91. I'm going to circle the signs now and write down stop. The same you take away, opposite you plus. Because they're the same, I'm going to take away. And let's take away this. Going downwards, 15x take away 8x. That's going to give me minus 13x. 35 take away 35 is nothing. And 130 take away 91 is 39. So be careful with that. Make sure you can do it. Now I need to divide by minus 13. Okay, now 39 divided by 13, if you're not sure about it, write them down. 13, another lot of 13 is 26. That's 2 lots of 13. If I add on 13 again, I'm going to get 39. So that's 3. So 39 divided by 13 is just 3. But because it's divided by minus 13, the answer is minus 3. Okay, a lot of you know how to do this, but you're in a rush. You don't take your time, and you often make careless errors here. But make sure you can do it. I'm going to pick one of the equations. I'm going to pick the first one, replace the x with 3. So if I replace that x with minus 3, I'll have 3 times minus 3, which is minus 9. I need to get rid of that minus 9 on that side. The opposite of minus 9 is to plus 9. So I have 7y is equal to 26 plus 9 is 35. To get rid of that 7, I need to divide by 7. And 35 divided by 7 is 5. And that's my result there. Make sure you're okay with it, and you can do it. Okay. Question 6. The equation x cubed minus 3x is equal to 15 has solutions between 2 and 3. Use trial and improvement to find x to one decimal place. So I'm going to put x cubed minus 3x, and 15. And because they said to us that the solution was between 2 and 3, I'm going to start off with 2.5. Put that into the equation, work it out. I'm getting an answer that's too small, so I'm going to go bigger than that, 2.6. Work it out. I've got 9.776. I've got an answer that's too small again. I'm going to try 2.7, and that got me another answer that's too small. Try 2.8, and this time I'm getting 13.55, still too small. I'm going to try 2.9, and that gets me 15.689, which is a little bit bigger. So I know my answer is going to be between 2.8 and 2.9, and so I need to try 2.85. Stick that into your calculator. I'm getting 14.59 and a bit more numbers, which in this case is too small. It's slightly smaller. So because that's smaller, if I go back to my original pairing, okay, so go back to the original pair, and in this case I'm looking at that. I need to go with the one that's bigger. And the one that's bigger is 2.9, and that's my answer there. Make sure you're okay with this, and make sure if you do get one like this, you get full marks, 4 or 5 marks or something like this. You need to show all of this work in, okay? Question 7. Okay, we did one similar to this. Actually, no, we didn't. There was one similar to this on your formula, on your revision booklet. So please do look at your revision booklet. If there's a minus sign in front of the x like this, you just reflect it in the x-axis, right? So you reflect it in the x-axis. So I'm going to pick the same points that I did the last time, and I'm going to think, okay, if I reflect this point in the x-axis, it's going to be 2 more on the other side. Okay, if I reflect this point in the x-axis, it's going to be 2 on the other side of the x-axis. This point here is actually already on the x-axis. It's going to stay put. This point here is 3 squares away, so it'll actually move to 3 squares on the other side. And I'm just going to do the same graph again, but now join these up. Now you might be able to see that. That looks like a reflection in the x-axis. Do think about it a little bit. Question 8, if you understood the previous one, this should be not a problem. I'm going to have x plus 2 all squared and y plus 5 all squared. And because the radius is 13, I'll have 13 squared on the other side. Question 9, put in the values of g and h. You can plug that into your calculator. You do need a calculator to work this out, and you will get a final answer of minus 4.25. Do make sure you use brackets when you're doing this, because it's absolutely essential that you square the negative numbers. Okay, this brings us to the end of the algebra calculator worksheets. Make sure you do understand them, you have a good understanding of them, and you can do them on your own. Please do try them again, revisit this, and do it in the lead up to your exams.